and good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. Let's take a quick look at stories that are making the headlines this Thursday. President Mnangagwa has yet again delivered on one of his many pledges after handing over the first batch of 100 tractors to war veterans in an empowerment initiative that is expected to have ripple effects in communities all around the country. We shall take you to New York, where Zimbabwe is expected to host a launch event for its bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. Residents' representatives believe income from water is being used to cover almost every expense in councils, including what they described as flashy lifestyles of some municipal bosses, while service delivery really remains poor. Stay tuned for that service delivery story. It's coming up here on Newsplus. Chevrons are banking on home support as they chase a World Cup slot, with qualifiers starting in Harare on Friday. Our main story this evening: Zimbabwe is tonight set to launch its United Nations Security Council candidature bid on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. The launch event starts at 6 p.m. New York time, which will be around midnight here in Zimbabwe, with Foreign Affairs Minister Professor Eamon Murira expected to lead proceedings on behalf of President Mnangagwa. Now, after President Emmerson Mnangagwa's launch in Harare a fortnight ago, a lot of ground has been made in garnering support from other nations. These include China, India, and Venezuela. Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Eamon Murira has been holding a series of bilateral talks with his counterparts that are from several countries as Zimbabwe mobilizes support for its bid.
We now have 4 December as a day of commemorating this. We don't want cohesive action which are unsanctioned by the United Nations. So it's a day that Venezuela, with a group of friends, was able to lead to say we are against unsanctioned cohesive measures which are not sanctioned by the United Nations.
Now, being a member of the United Nations Security Council will enable Zimbabwe to increase its global influence as well as contribute to global peace and security. As we try to discuss this further, we are joined live by Lazarus Sauti, who is an international relations expert. Lazarus, good evening, and thank you so much for making the time and for joining us on Newsplus. What's the significance of tonight's global campaign?
The launch is a diplomatic milestone for us. Remember, Zimbabwe was suffering from international isolation for a very long time, and the launch is now a bid to try and revamp our international image, to engage international actors, other countries, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs used the UNGA and the launch to engage other countries and deal with all the problems that are affecting Zimbabwe.
We're having quite of a connection problem with Lazarus there, but I'm hoping you can be able to answer me on this one, Lazarus, to say, why is it important for SADC and the Global South?
It is all about cooperation, international cooperation. It is about collaboration. Zimbabwe is being the voice of other countries, the so-called isolated countries. Remember, Venezuela supported Zimbabwe's bid, meaning that countries that are sharing the same political interest, countries that have suffered from international isolation, from the international community that have been silenced, are supporting each other in achieving peace and security in the world. And another thing is, when it comes to this launch when it comes to Zimbabwe's bid to join the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member. It is also pushing the interest of Africa. Africa and the other countries from Latin America and Asia are demanding more permanent seats in the United Nations Security Council. The current structure is not promoting balance in the international system. It is elevating the voices of powerful countries whilst silencing the voices of the so-called developing countries. And Zimbabwe is trying to shift that narrative. It is trying to use its bid to be a non-permanent member to raise the profile of countries from Southern Africa as well as other countries from the Global South.
Now, Harare is trying to accelerate re-engagement efforts on different aspects. How then will this improve Harare's re-engagement efforts?
So you realize that the move is in line with the Second Republic's foreign policy goal. The foreign policy is anchored on issues to do with engagement and re-engagement. And Zimbabwe used the United Nations General Assembly, the UNGA, and the bid to engage other countries to deal with its profile, especially in terms of the so-called human rights violations.
Well, thank you so much, Lazarus. Unfortunately, you were a bit cut off because I think it's the network. But thank you for discussing that issue with us. Now, President Mnangagwa today handed over the first batch of 100 tractors to war veterans in an empowerment initiative that will have ripple effects in communities around the country. The handover ceremony was presided over by the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Anxious Masuka, who represented the president at the ruling party's headquarters in the capital, Harare. The event marks a major step in a broader empowerment drive that is designed to support the country's liberation war heroes ahead of the upcoming farming season. Minister Masuka said the initiative recognizes the immense sacrifices made by the nation's war veterans in liberating the country.
Ungano revarwiri vorusungunuko apo president wenyika taiti Mnangagwa vakati vachavapa zvikwanisiro zvepamunda zvinoenderana nematrakta. Matrakta ayauya, saka nhasi zuva guru ratiri kupa veterans league sezvavakataurwa napresident matrakta. Vese kana vanomawana zvanongoitwa navamwe kurima rava business vanoenda bank pavo kuFC president vovabatsira kubhadhara deposit yoita saizvozvo. Kana ashanda mamwe auya tinovimba kuti toramba tichiendera mberi nechirongwa chakadai.
Under this scheme, President Mnangagwa has pledged to pay 50% of the total cost for each tractor. The remaining balance will be paid by the beneficiaries through financing arrangements with the AFC Bank. The tractors will be distributed through the same bank. ZANU-PF Secretary for War Veterans Douglas Mahia commended President Mnangagwa's generosity.
The president has created a league solely for being able to understand the socio-economic individual situation war veteran. So the league has always been communicating with the president about what is required from our veteran. So if this is the result, we requested the current president sometime ago, we need more tractors which can support him. Anyway, we requested about 2,000 to 3,000.
In other news, Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has called on the construction industry to foster a sustainable and reliable sector anchored on professionalism and ethics in the face of corruption, malpractices, and cutting off corners. He made the call in Masvingo today, where he officially opened the Construction Industry Federation of Zimbabwe Congress. Now, the Congress comes in the wake of a boom in the construction industry, backed by government's prioritization of infrastructure development, but has also seen murmurs of some unethical practices, particularly in the private sector, where the professional rulebook is occasionally parked.
Let me emphasize that this partnership must be grounded on ethics, transparency, and purposeful leadership. We cannot and will not tolerate gender manipulation, or unethical dealings that undermine confidence and compromise delivery. Let this Congress mark a collective pledge that the Zimbabwean construction industry shall be built on the pillars of honesty, hard work, and professionalism. Remains a crucial core in the development matrix, and that it continues to erect enabling infrastructure for economic development.
Now let's shift our focus to issues of service delivery. Calls for increased budget allocations towards water, sanitation and hygiene services dominated the opening of the National Residents Summit in Bulawayo this morning, as participants demanded the ring-fencing of water revenues to ensure funds are directed toward infrastructure development. The two-day summit, hosted by the Bulawayo Progressive Residents Association, is running under the theme Rethinking Wash Sector Financing in the Context of Devolution. It has brought together residents, local authorities, civic organizations, and human rights defenders to reimagine financing models and push for accountability in the sector.
Residents' representatives said income from water is being used to cover almost every expense in councils, including what they described as flashy lifestyles of some municipal bosses, while service delivery remains poor. They highlighted the stark contrast in access to potable water between cities, noting that while 94% of Bulawayo residents receive council water, only 40% of Harai's population has access. In his keynote address, Bulawayo Mayor Senator David Coulthard urged residents to play a more active role in demanding accountability and quality services from municipalities. He said ratepayers had both rights and responsibilities in shaping local governance.
In my opening remarks, I do see the need to ring fence, to ensure that we don't dissipate our water revenues, to make sure that we make that more efficient. But I would personally have a strong concern about the complete privatization of that authority.
Bulawayo Progressive Residents Association Director Permanent Ngoma said water was central to residents' dignity and survival and therefore deserved special budgetary protection. She called for deliberate policies that ensure water finances are not diverted to unrelated expenditures.
This year we're looking at water and sanitation, and the reason why we're focusing on water and sanitation is because Bulawayo, not only Bulawayo, the whole country at large has been having water challenges, and we thought it would be wise to deliberate on some of those challenges that we're facing as residents, that the local authorities are facing in terms of availability of water, and also try to come up with solutions.
Combined Harare Residents Association representative Ruben Ariki said the capital city's water access crisis was a reflection of misplaced priorities and lack of investment in infrastructure, adding that residents were paying for services that they do not receive.
The water supply coverage for the local authority, in particular Harare, with the municipal water supplies, they are around 40%, meaning that the rest of the 60% they get water either from a well or a borehole. And we have seen also of obstruction of water from the ground.
Umzingwane and Gwanda Residents Associations echoed similar concerns, calling for equitable wash financing that recognizes the unique needs of smaller towns and rural areas where residents often rely on unsafe water sources. They also called for the protection of water catchment areas from mining activities which threaten to pollute dams beyond consumption-safe levels.
But chemicals athelwa emadamu ethu. In the near future, abantwana bethu sibachiyayo bazobela amadamu agcwele ngamanzi kodwa bangosiwasebenzisa.
Water sazi sonke ukuthi is a need, but with the current situation kuba nzima, so we hope ukuthi at the end of the day what we discuss here kuzathi empower us ukuthi loba sesihlangana le local authorities sithi bring ama ideas for the development of our town.
Khumbulan Maposo of the Matabeleland Institute for Human Rights said the summit must push for practical solutions that address systematic corruption and ensure councils remain transparent in managing water resources. He emphasized that wash access is a basic human right and not a privilege.
Common solutions. How do we find solutions to our common problems regarding especially issues of water in line with the devolution paradigm that the country has taken? Because our country is a country that has a devolution in the constitution, and we need to implement that. And part of that means finding local solutions to the problems that we are having, especially of water and sanitation.
The summit objectives include assessing progress since the last residents gathering in 2024, developing strategies for accountable and gender-responsive wash service delivery, exploring alternatives to privatization of municipal services, and drafting a shared policy position on improving financing and investment. Through panel discussions, workshops and plenary sessions, participants are expected to generate proposals that will inform both local and national policy frameworks with the ultimate goal of ensuring sustainable, inclusive and equitable wash service delivery across Zimbabwe. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
When Newsplus comes back, we take a closer look at the World Literacy Day celebrations that were held in the capital. Stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, today, schools from across Zimbabwe convened at Churchill High School for World Literacy Day celebrations. The day is commemorated every 8th of September globally to highlight the importance of literacy for human development. Our reporter Sharon Munjinjima has more details.
International Literacy Day, promoting literacy in the digital era. For over 93% of Zimbabweans, reading this is simple. But around the world, more than 700 million people cannot do the same. Today's commemoration is a reminder that the fight for literacy is far from over. This year's celebrations are focusing on digital literacy, a critical skill in today's world. Officiating the commemoration's primary and secondary education minister Torirai Moyo said, literacy now goes beyond reading and writing. It includes digital skills needed to learn, work, and engage in modern society.
This year's theme, promoting literacy in the digital era, is both timely and relevant, as it calls upon all of us, policymakers, educators, communities and development partners to respond decisively to the shifting landscape of literacy and learning in the 21st century.
Minister Moyo said government has integrated digital literacy into the school curriculum from early childhood to secondary level. Even teachers are being trained to use ICT in the classroom. Schools are also being equipped with computers, e-learning materials, and solar-powered systems through partnerships with local and international agencies.
To enhance the effectiveness of digital teaching and learning, the Ministry has invested in teacher professional development through its continuous professional development CBT framework. Thousands of educators have been trained to integrate ICT tools into the teaching practice, supporting not only knowledge transmission, but also critical and creative thinking among learners.
Young learners who attended the event also shared their thoughts with ZTN News on the importance of literacy.
It helps us to communicate and it also helps us to create employment.
Other young learners told ZTN News that literacy is not just important for employment or connecting with the world, but also for understanding life itself.
It is important for people to read and write so they can understand better in life.
As Zimbabwe joins the world in marking World Literacy Day, authorities say efforts will continue to expand reading and digital skills for all learners. The goal is to ensure every child can thrive in today's connected world. Shira Munjenjema for ZTN News in Harare.
Meanwhile, a delegation led by senior officials from the Office of Vice President Kembo Mohadi have expressed satisfaction with progress at the Chimoio Shrine in Mozambique. The project, which includes infrastructure upgrades, is seen as a strong symbol of cooperation between Harare and Maputo.
At the historic Chimoio Shrine, where Zimbabwe's liberation heroes rest, government is undertaking significant infrastructure improvements. Officials inspected work on an administration block, shelter for visitors, houses for caretakers, a solar-powered borehole, and a security fence.
Especially if it's coming on the heels of the tour of the Honorable Vice President just 2 weeks ago.
The delegation said they are happy with the speed and quality of the work, adding that the project reflects the strong partnership between Zimbabwe and Mozambique. The Minister of Transport noted that the project has been successful because it adheres to SADC standards while showcasing Zimbabwe's indigenous capacity.
It was not difficult for us to collaborate with the locals in terms of building this infrastructure at the speed that we are building it, because we are all having.
But also locals expressed their gratitude of how this has impacted their lives.
Kupadzirana taitoenda mugoti agora manena matisireya tapadhudzana mvura matonatsira rambai na moyo yakadaro yatishaniseki mvura
isaka pakazouya vice president nofunga zvakatiudza kuti chicha muri kuda kuti tiitirwe takataura zvese akuna kupera kana mwedzi chaiwo zvese zvakutotanga kudini kuitwa saka
semhuri yekuchimoyo taitambudzika nemvura taichera kutsime but kutsime kwachimanje ikure.
The consular announced that next week the exercise to give decent burials to remains of heroes will commence, a move that further solidifies the mission's importance.
It's expected that about 7 to 15 comrades who are buried just a kilometer from here. So we hope that team will come, they will exhume.
As the shrine takes shape, officials say it symbolizes both respect for fallen heroes and the continued solidarity between Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
The Newsplus Provincial Registry Office was officially commissioned today, marking a major milestone in Zimbabwe's ongoing efforts to modernize and decentralize public service delivery. The facility becomes the second center in Manicaland province to offer e-passport services after Chipinge registry offices. Officially commissioning the building, Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazimbe, said the development will now serve Mutare and surrounding communities with e-passport services.
This project, ladies and gentlemen, reflects the Second Republic's broader vision for good governance, a vision where government services are accessible, transparent, and efficient. This registry office will not only enhance service delivery, but will ensure that every citizen's records are properly documented and safeguarded, thereby strengthening national security and improving economic planning. Civil registry is essential for a modern administrative system and good governance, protecting human rights and fostering an inclusive society. A well-functioning civil registry system is also a major source of continuous and reliable vital statistics and population data. Such data is crucial for effective policy implementation, universal development, and monitoring progress towards national and international development targets, including Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063.
At the same opening, Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mishek Mugadza, held the development, highlighting that the new registry facility adds to a growing list of high-impact infrastructure projects that are happening in Manicaland.
This project is yet another tangible expression of His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa's devolution agenda. We have seen several projects, high-impact mushrooming in Zimbabwe, in Manicaland, guest of honor. As I speak right now, to my left, just less than 500 meters, we have the Nut Farm building, which is ready for commissioning. We have the grain silos near Mtare Teachers College, again, that are ready for commissioning. We have the new Grand Reef Airport that has been put together, and we now have a flight that is flying the Harare-Mutare route.
In other news, stakeholders in the aquaculture sector met in Harare today to come up with strategies that are aimed at boosting productivity and expanding new markets for local fish farmers. This comes at a time when the country is achieving just over 50% of its fish production target. Tafara Swochiwe has more on this.
Zimbabwe has set an ambitious target to reach an annual fish production of 60,000 metric tons by 2026, aiming to grow the fisheries sector into a $1 billion industry. Yet, the country is currently producing slightly over 50% of this target, resulting in a shortfall that has compelled individuals to import fish from outside the country. Authorities working in partnership with development partners and the private sector are seeking strategies to boost production and meet the set targets. Acting CEO of Agricultural Marketing Authority believes small-scale farmers have the potential to upscale production and accelerate efforts towards the 60,000 metric tons goal.
I think in Zimbabwe currently we are at a production level of about 31,000 metric tons of fish, so we intend to lift it up to about 60,000 so that we stop imports of fish into the country.
A group of women comprising former sex workers, victims of child marriages and those from disadvantaged backgrounds are playing their small part in boosting the national fish production. On April 22, 2025, the group achieved its first successful harvest, facilitated by a donation of 2,200 fingerlings from the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. They have been able to enhance sales through the use of digital marketing, and with more capitalization, they are aiming to further increase production.
So through advertisement on social media platforms, flyers, posters, buyers came in large numbers. The group sold, the fish was sold at $4 a kg and over 200 kgs worth of harvest. It was a successful and inspiring day for the group.
Facilities to preserve product quality and reduce losses and expand market research, restocking and above all funding remain some of the major challenges faced by fish farmers. Due to insufficient transportation options and the absence of cold storage facilities, their market remains confined to the local community level.
We have realized that farmers, they are selling, of course, fish, their produce to their neighborhood. But that is not really sustainable as fish production is increasing. Even in the neighborhood, may not be able to absorb that fish. So there is need to develop markets that are well defined and with a clear understanding in terms of the requirements of the consumers themselves.
With financial support from the European Union and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, which aims to enhance productivity and competitiveness in fisheries and aquaculture value chains across 12 member states of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, Zimbabwe is a recipient of this initiative. Representing the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Leonard Munamati, the Director of Rural Development in the Ministry of Agriculture, asserts that they have established programs to support small-scale farmers in the aquaculture sector.
A scheme which targets 35,000 boreholes and 2 fish ponds per every village business unit. 2. Fish for Communities initiatives, the Fish for Schools, the Fish for the commercial cage culture, all these are Fish for Community initiatives. 3. The animal health and food safety programs. And 4. On-farm feed formulation and genetic improvement of fish species.
As Zimbabwe pushes towards achieving $1 billion aquaculture economy by 2030, stakeholders across government, civil society and international partners are uniting to find lasting solutions. Addressing key challenges such as access to funding, cold storage, transport and market expansion remains critical. The shared goal is to bridge the nation fish supply gap, reduce imports and build a resilient, inclusive and competitive aquaculture sector. Tavares Buchiwa for ZTN Prime.
You are watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now we are taking a look at news from around the world. Botswana's economy is grappling with steep U.S. tariffs, prompting the Southern African nation to accelerate diversification and cut reliance on a narrow export base. Norman Molele, Chief Executive Officer of Business Botswana, which is the country's main chamber of commerce, said Botswana is treating the crisis as a catalyst to advance economic transition and explore alternative markets to cushion the impact of U.S. trade measures. Now, he also emphasized that blocked exports would directly undermine job creation, adding that Botswana is actively negotiating with partners such as China and tapping into the African continental free trade area to secure reliable alternative markets.
If we are unable to export what we manufacture and which we thought would create employment, certainly then employment will be affected. We are negotiating, we're looking for alternative markets. We're talking to countries like China. We are part of the Africa Free Trade Area. We are finding markets, or developing markets in different areas of the world, to see to it that there are alternatives that we can rely on.
Over in Malawi, the Election Commission of Malawi announced that former leader, 85-year-old Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika from the Democratic Progressive Party won the presidential election on Wednesday, marking a significant return to power. Supporters of Mutharika were seen celebrating the results inside the Election Commission headquarters and on the streets, while military officials and election staff observed the vote count conclusion. Early on Wednesday, Chakwera conceded defeat to his predecessor Mutharika as the country faces severe economic challenges, including soaring costs and fuel shortages.
Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika achipanisha DPP apeza mavoti okwana 3,035,249. I declare candidate Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika as the President-elect of and Justice Dr. Jane Maemu Ansah AC retired as the President and Vice President-elect of the Republic of Malawi following the September 25 presidential general election.
In Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni promised he would bring Uganda from a low middle-income country to a high middle-income country in a speech in Kampala, confirming his candidacy for the January 2026 elections in a bid to extend a rule that began in 1986. The president, who is now 79, also used his speech to connect with younger Ugandans. Uganda is a growing youth population with more than three-quarters, that's 78% of its citizens below the age of 35. This is according to UNICEF. Outlining his priorities, Museveni noted the need for broader inclusion in Uganda.
Is to work with the middle class and the investors from outside to completely transform Uganda from a lower middle income country, which we are now. We are no longer a least developed country, we are now a lower middle income country, to high middle income country moving towards first world country. Number two, education. Free education for our children of the poor in the government schools. For all children in the government schools. The rich ones can take their children to private schools.
We delve into the world of business after this.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, when I look at business, we start off with some stock exchange news. The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, Africa's only foreign currency denominated bourse, has recorded a 34% gain year to date, more than double its 15% return in 2024. Authorities say a review of broker fees could make the market more flexible, attract more funders, and compete with global capital hubs. Our business reporter, Melissa Chachkobo, has the details.
The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange market capitalization climbed 28.7% to $1.65 billion United States dollars, adding $200 million since late August. This has been supported by strong performance of listed companies and the recent debut of Kavango Resources. Now revising broker fees is on cards. These adjustments are expected to loosen the market and make VFX more competitive with global capital hubs.
Invictus listed on VFX because that's exactly how the stock exchange could position itself But we have to make sure that the fees, broker fees and whatever the other fees and so forth, match or are better than Australia and Toronto.
Market watchers say the success of the VFX has set the stage for the country to establish a fully fledged international financial services center.
The exchange is now ripe to go to the next level where we can raise money for bigger projects that can help the country. And the second argument that I'm having is that it's time now to have a fully fledged international financial center in Zimbabwe that has got banks, insurance companies, and be able to generate even more development income into the country.
Zimbabwe could tap into that to build and strengthen its economy.
We can use it also as a basis to test new concept or financial concept in the center that, if successful, you can later on use into the domestic market.
With the right policies, Zimbabwe could join the League of countries hosting international financial services centers, using the VFX as a springboard. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chitkobo in Harare.
Still in business, Honorable Tongai Mafidi Mnangagwa, the Deputy Minister of Tourism and Hospitality, has acknowledged the crucial collaboration between the tourism and education sectors. He highlights how their joint efforts in research and technical support are helping the tourism sector meet its goals. The Deputy Minister has also challenged the university to develop a scientifically backed strategy to protect the tourism sector from the negative impact of climate change.
Promoting sustainability and resilience by integrating all these principles into a tourism development and decision-making process. My ministry is hopeful of the strategic and collaborative efforts between us and the academic sector, of course through your Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development with regards to research and technical support that drives the sector towards achieving this target. Going forward, we need to dialogue around key issues such as climate change, which are very topical and real in our lives. We envisage a situation where we come together with the tertiary institutions to come up with scientifically proven strategies to cushion the sector against adverse effects of climate change.
University of Zimbabwe Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Mapfumo highlighted that tourism is not just a leisure activity, but it is now a force which shapes economies, bridges cultures, and empowers communities, as it is a powerful vehicle in economic growth.
That tourism no longer is just a leisure activity. It is a force that shapes economies, bridges cultures, and empowers communities. There are few industries that connect people, cultures, and economies as profoundly as tourism does, and today we honor that connection. Tourism is one of the most powerful vehicles for cultural exchange, economic growth, and community empowerment. In Zimbabwe, we are blessed with our inspiring landscapes, from the majestic Victoria Falls to the serene Eastern Highlands, and a rich tapestry of heritage and tradition.
Still in business, the African Development Bank says that the Zimbabwe government has completed the deployment of the new online tax and revenue management system, TARMS, developed under a $10.4 million tax and accountability enhancement project supported by AFDB. Officially launched on the 18th of August 2025 in Harare by Deputy Finance Minister Kudakwashe David Mnangagwa, the system marks the culmination of a phased process that began in the year of 2023. And now we give you some entertainment news.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
But prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Wow, this is beautiful. Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Now look at entertainment. Popular MC and DJ Babongile Skonjwa has been granted a state-assisted funeral ahead of his burial on Saturday. The announcement was made by Bulawayo Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Judith Ngube, at the Skonjwa family home in Bulawayo's Richmond suburb on Thursday evening. Speaking during a prayer session at Skonjwa's Richmond residence, Minister Ngube disclosed that government contributed $10,000 to support the family with funeral arrangements and related logistics.
Umongameli upay $10,000 but ngeyakithi ngezik okwenzakalayo yikuthi lizafike ofisini kadesi it's already late maybe kusasekuseni wenzela ukuthi kwazakala ukuthi imali izafakwa ku-account yiphi kodwa nxa kulezinto elizithengayo kumbe umsebenzi eliwufuna ngomntwana kubo-doves lithatha kuyena leyo mali ngendlela elifuna ngayo la ngakho konke okuhamba lo msebenzi lo then liyabe lilo director from my office elizabe lihamba lisayina ekhona laye esenzela ukuthi athumeze amaphepha masinyane eHarare then i-change yiyo engena ku-account leyo elizabe lisinike yona.
Babongile's son, Qobo, paid a moving tribute to his dad, who will be buried in Gwanda on Saturday.
And this is for you, Dada. I will always love you, no matter what happens, no matter what. Not even death can separate us. I will always love you, but I will always love you, Dad. You're the best dad I could ever ask for. Thank you for everything you've done for me, Dad. I love you.
Be sure to catch the full interview in tomorrow's edition of The Chronicle. The full video will also be accessible on the Chronicle digital platforms. Now, a total of 18 models are set to outclass each other as the Mr. and Miss Hardy. The Miss Rural pageant is coming back with a new team of organizers after taking a break of over 15 years. Mental Voices Trust, the organizers of the revamped pageant, have announced that the search for Mr. and Miss Rural Zimbabwe said the event will be held at Pagomba Cafe. Event organizer Sibo Mazibuko said the pageant's primary objective is to provide rural youth with equal opportunities for exposure akin to their urban counterparts who participate in renowned pageants like Miss World, Miss Universe, as well as Miss Earth. And now we take a look at some sporting action.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. All right.
Put your seatbelt on.
We start off our look at sport with some cricket. Zimbabwe will begin their bid to qualify for next year's T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka when they face Uganda in their first match of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Africa Qualifier 2025 at Harare Sports Club at 1:50 p.m. tomorrow. But before that, the qualifier gets underway with two matches at 9:30 a.m. Namibia face Kenya at Harare Sports Club, while Nigeria take on Malawi at Takashinga Cricket Club. Tanzania face Botswana in the afternoon match at Takashinga. Chevron's T20 captain Skandar Raza is banking on home support to carry his side through the qualifier as they target automatic qualification for the World Cup.
Yeah, we feel pretty confident, not just myself, the whole team as well. Zimbabwe cricket has given us enough games and we have played against some quality opposition and we have actually played a decent brand of cricket as well. We just have to focus on that brand of cricket that we've been playing in T20 cricket, and if we can bring our A games, then inshallah I feel very confident that we will be at the World Cup. And having to do with the pressure at home, people can look at it in that way that there's pressure, but I look at it that there's support. Our own fans provide a lot of support, so instead of looking at it from a pressure point of view, I look at it from a support point of view, that we'll be the team that have the most support during our game, so I just cannot wait to get the comp started. Yeah, certainly my message to the fans would be to come in numbers, to support Zimbabwe. You have never let us down, and I know you will not let us down this time around as well. The tide is starting to turn. There's a lot of positive and aggressive cricket that we are starting to play, and the results are starting to show as well. So your presence will go such a long way.
In football, Zimbabwe are plotting a victory in their second round of the CAF Champions League preliminary round clash against Nsingizini Hotspurs set for Sunday. The Shamba side won 1-0 on Sunday and are leaving nothing to chance in the second leg to keep their dream debut going.
Zimbabwe's dream start to their CAF Champions League journey has ignited belief within the camp as they prepare for a make-or-break second-leg tie against Eswatini's Nsingizini Hotspurs this Sunday. The team has been based in Gaborone for camping and is set to travel to Eswatini on Thursday to complete final preparations ahead of the decisive tie. Despite being newcomers to the competition, Zimbabwe boast a balanced mix of youth and experience with a simple yet powerful message focused on qualification to the next round.
Coaches asinikeza bonke okufanele siyokusebenzisa away and nathi siyazi ukuthi angeke kube igame elula, kuzoba nzima kakhulu, kodwa as a team sizobambisana sisebenzisane kahle siphushane as a team sibone ukuthi we come again futhi ne 3 points esigcweleyo sibuyele ekhaya sine 6 points ikho sikufunayo ngoba ama points abebaleke kakhulu and angiboni ukuthi nathi kufanele siconsider ngoba sobe sihlala away from home.
Zimbabwe made strategic reinforcements to boost squad depth and competitive edge across all competitions. Midfielder Tavonga Kuleya, who rose from the youth ranks of Doncaster Rovers in the UK, has quickly adapted to the pace and ambition of the Zimbabwean champions as they seek to make a mark on continental football.
I'm excited to play in the next round. My expectations are to win the next game and advance into the second round. And as a team, we're training, working on tactics, and doing lots of running. It was a good experience on Sunday. We had a lot of opportunities that we missed, but I feel like we'll improve in the next game.
Experienced midfielder Neva Tigere, who's a veteran of many continental campaigns, has been a pillar of guidance to the younger players, constantly reminding them to remain focused on the bigger picture.
But basa satrapera tichiri kupusha every day. We are training hard kuti tipushe because we are not yet through. So I know these games are very important to everyone in this team, and there's some players vasati vambotamba Champions League, so they are excited, they are happy, but chandokwanisa kuvakurudzira ndechekuti we are not yet finished the job. Fana kusumudzira vadiki vatanga kutamba Champions League this season, so we can push together.
Victory for Zimbabwe will see them advance to face either Simba SC of Tanzania or Gaborone United in the next round, and they resume their African quest as Somhlolo Stadium, fully aware that their destiny is in their own hands.
FC Platinum make a trip to the Eastern Lowville this weekend, hoping to build on their first win in 6 games against Bikita Minerals. They're hoping to mount a strong push toward the end of the season. We get more in the following report.
FC Platinum will be on the road to Gibo Stadium this weekend, looking to build on their morale-boosting 1-0 win over Highlanders in their last league outing. The victory came as a relief to the side to bring an end to a shocking run of 5 matches without win, with 4 of those being consecutive defeats. It has now been 2 matches without defeat for the former league champions, who are hoping for a good outing against Bikita Minerals. Currently 5th on the log and 11 points off the top with 5 games to go, FC Platinum can take comfort in the unpredictable twists and turns that have seen the top 2 teams drop points in their last 2 games. Only 3rd placed Ngezi Platinum Stars and Moors in 4th have managed maximum points in the same period in the top 5. A title charge might seem like a reach at this point, but head coach Norman Mapeza is focused on finishing strong and is pleased to have a full squad available for selection this weekend.
What happened in our game against the leaders, the guys did very well, and we had some time to rest. We don't have any injury worries as well. We don't have any suspensions. So we have got a full squad, and it's always good. When we do up 7 sessions without any worries in terms of injuries.
FC Platinum's last trip to Gibo Stadium ended with a 2-0 defeat to Triangle United. This time they face a Bikita Minerals side whom they are yet to beat in 3 league meetings.
We know their position on the log. We know the current situation, and it's definitely not going to be an easy game. They are one of those teams which are down there fighting for survival. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. But like I said earlier on, if you look at our performance against the leaders, I think the guys really pushed and they played very well. We just need to continue from where we left when we played the leaders.
The team carried the longest unbeaten run of the season until it all unraveled with their first defeat leading to 3 more in a row. It is a pattern that can affect confidence, and Mapeza wants his side to show their mental fortitude by working their way back to form and keep fans happy.
The guys are looking okay in itself. What's important now is to continue from where we left and where the ending does. I just hope we go there when we go to Chile on Saturday. We get a positive result. Our fans have been doing that for the past 8 months. They've been doing that, they've been pushing us. They should know that we are in this together.
The PSL season is heading to its conclusion and there are no easy fixtures left for all the teams. FC Platinum will be aiming to stabilize their form, but survival chasing Bikita Minerals have everything to fight for, which makes for an intriguing encounter this weekend.
Well, that's all we had for you on Newsplus this evening. Thank you so much for making the time and for joining us. Now, soon after this, the chase is coming up. And tonight we are talking about regularizing informal settlements and the issuance of title deeds. My name is Faith Nyauri. Good evening and enjoy the rest of your viewing.